Welcome back to Market It with Atmo, where we share the tips, tools, and strategies to help your business be successful. Today we have on the show Mr. Ron Wadley. He is the owner of Insurance for Texas, and he is on a mission to make sure business owners have the essential information and needs to make sure their business is successful. Welcome, Ron.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm so excited to have you today because I mentioned before we started recording that I had someone on yesterday that really emphasized what types of insurance businesses should have. So tell me more about you and what navigated you to owning your own business and this business specifically.
So the journey has been here, there, and everywhere. I started as a high school math teacher and basketball coach a long time ago.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So when I left that, I went into the world of insurance on the corporate side.
Okay.
Spent several years working with actuaries, even spent time in a hedge fund in Fort Worth, did consulting for a company that helped health systems and physician groups leverage the insurance to improve patient outcomes and make more money.
Wow.
And I walked away from that in late 2013 because I was done with corporate America.
I can't imagine. I mean, the industry and corporate America together, I mean, it's a stressful environment day to day.
The thing that was most stressful was that you could see these problems, you could see what was going on, and you could do nothing about it.
Man, I felt that.
And I looked at my wife and I said, I got to get out of this. And we went back and forth. She said, I don't care what you're going to do. Just do it and shut up.
Right. Be happy with what you do, right?
Yeah. So I launched as a captive insurance agent with one of the big companies that advertises on TV. Spent a couple of years building that business up, sold it off in 2017, and decided to jump into the independent insurance agency world and open Insurance for Texans. Then we work with many companies now. We did that. I made that jump so that we could have multiple tools in the toolbox. You know, the old saying is, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Right.
And we wanted to have screwdrivers and saws and wrenches and all of the tools.
Power tools, right?
Power tools especially.
So it seems like you really found your niche and what you wanted to do with the rest of your life and how you wanted to approach it. So tell me, what's your journey like now? What is the main goal or mission for Insurance for Texans?
So our main goal today, we still service people, so homes and cars and things of that nature. But our primary focus, our niche, is really on helping churches, early childhood education centers, and technology businesses properly protect their future financially.
Wow. Okay, and how do you do that?
We do that through customized solutions that address property insurance, liability insurance, and then we also help address some of the benefit needs that go with that. Life and health insurance for employees.
Wow.
So that they can have a holistic approach, have a single point of contact. And since we represent multiple companies, we can customize those solutions to the individual business or church or nonprofit organization.
Right. I mean, because every business and every industry is different. No matter how you slice it, the pizza parlor right here is different than the one down the street, right?
It's a great way to look at it. Yeah, the pizza parlor, most people will think immediately of the 17-year-old kid delivering Domino's to your house, right?
Absolutely.
But there's also that wood-fired Neapolitan, just down the street over here. There's a place here in Arlington I love to go, and it's a very different experience. They have very different needs from an insurance standpoint. Yes, people come in. One has delivery drivers, one doesn't. One has deck ovens, another one has a big, ceramic wood-fired oven.
Yeah.
Completely different needs.
So with your experience in the industry world prior to this company that you started, would you say that you've learned the do's and don'ts of what companies do and don't need, and you've customized that approach and strategy for them?
So part of it does come from that previous experience, having been on the corporate side of insurance, especially in helping price and deliver actual policies to customers. I learned what the levers were that you could pull that really matter. Where are the most claims happening? Where are you going to need this the most? And so now when we go into a business and we sit down with them, or we go into a church and we sit down with them and we say, what are you doing? Just like we'll go back to the pizzas because everybody loves pizza, right?
Absolutely.
We ask what that business is doing on their day-to-day operations. What worries them? What are they actually owning at the moment? Because some people rent, some people own the property. There's big differences there, and it changes what you need. We also introduce things that they've probably never thought about. Workers' compensation insurance in the state of Texas is optional.
Oh, really?
But if you carry it, you can't be sued beyond policy limits.
Wow, I did not know that.
So there's those mechanisms that we try to help them understand, number one. Number two, help them make educated decisions about what they truly need, what are nice to haves, where does it fit inside their budget, and how can we help them do that efficiently.
Right. I mean, it follows a lot of what we call our discovery process, which I think you've seen before. But you cannot build a house on sand, right? You have to know exactly what their struggles are to overcome them. And I love your customized strategy for each one, because I hate when people throw away money because it's a blank slate. Okay, it covers all of this, but do you really need a quarter of that or 50% of that?
Some things you can't take away. So there are industry standards within policies that there are certain things that are always going to be there if you meet those industry standards.
Okay.
So the ISO, International Standards Organization, has things for insurance policies just like they do for other industries.
Absolutely.
So there are some things that we can't take away.
Right.
But we can always make sure that where it's an option, you understand the risk. What does it mean to you? Our goal is to provide a promise of certainty. So the thing with insurance, it's not like going to the store and buying a coat. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. You can't smell it. You can't taste it.
That's right.
You can't hug it. You can't hold it. But when your world gets turned upside down, you really want it.
Absolutely.
And so we try to put that promise of certainty that it's going to be okay through those solutions in place.
Wow. So how do you approach, or your target market, obviously. You like the churches, you love the childhood development facilities, which I love as well. I have a soft spot in my heart for nonprofits and for educating children as much as possible. But how do you reach that demographic? How do you reach the churches? What would you say is the best marketing value you get?
So our main strategic focus is a digital presence.
Okay.
We do a lot through organic search. Now we tie into that social push. We tie into that drop-ins in places. We've done trade show events. We will do some door knocking from time to time, but the lion's share of our presence truly is digital online through our website.
Right. Okay.
What we do once we create that content, we begin to repurpose it and use it in lots of different places, because it now becomes an email. It can become a text. It can become a LinkedIn article. It can become a LinkedIn post. It can become a short. It can become a reel. It can become a video on YouTube. So you're
really maximizing on each and every part of your marketing dollars, which is a great strategy to have, because when you have all those linked together, like you said, your organic growth and your presence goes up.
The beautiful thing today that was not there, call it 8 years ago when we started, is the hot button topic du jour, AI, right?
Yes.
I can take the content that we produce, feed it into an engine, and my wife has the prompts, and she sits and she makes sure that it gets to all those other places,
right.
Produces a video script for me to record. She does the editing, and we're off to the races, and we're getting all of the value we can out of the work to produce a single piece of content.
Absolutely. Just like this podcast.
Yeah.
You can take this podcast and you can break it down into so many platforms, because part of the struggle, which I feel like you've really, really strategized on, is who is your audience and what do they want to see?
So when we define that audience, and we'll pick on the churches because it's an easy one.
Right.
First off, we know that there's a lot of them. Like, we're in Texas.
Everywhere.
They're on every corner, right? There's lots of churches everywhere. So it's a plentiful audience. It's also currently an audience that has gone through a lot of turmoil. The property insurance market in the state of Texas is well documented. It's been a dumpster fire for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
My own personal home insurance premium has more than tripled. Like, we're all in the same boat together.
Yes.
But when you think about a church, churches are large.
Mm-hmm.
And what comes with a large building? Large roofs.
Absolutely.
Hail falls on large roofs and creates claims. And the insurance companies don't like that. So it's a marketplace that has had a lot of turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
So people are inside of that turmoil are looking for relief. They're looking for answers.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking to understand how it can be made better. If you have content that is friendly to the Googles and the LinkedIns and the places like that,
Mm-hmm.
it allows you to be found.
It's that brand awareness.
Yes.
They say it's like 7 to 15 touch points or visually seeing something to really stay with you. And I think it's great that you're specifically making sure that you're out there all the time, because ideally, I assume you would want to be proactive and make sure they have coverage prior to. But man, when the roof literally falls in, you want to make sure you have somebody to call, right?
That's the premise, and that's part of what we do. I mean, I've had one of our customers went through a fire a couple of years ago. I showed up at their house on a Sunday afternoon, put my arm around them, and we walked through it with them. They're not going anywhere. They're a customer for life.
And that personal touch is so important. It's in this digital landscape, in this digital world now. I feel like I would appreciate that personal touch.
We try to take that digital imprint and make it as personal as possible. We do that through story. We do that, through the interactions we have. We try to facilitate and make the process of securing what you need as frictionless as possible.
Right, because
we're going to make that. Nobody comes into our office, right?
No, I don't think I've ever woke up and was like, yeah, let's go see him today. But to that point, I tell people all the time, you're not in sales. If you say you're in sales, and that word irks me. You're really creating relationships. Once you earn someone's trust and you show them your value and how you can benefit them, and your mindset seems to be very, very much aligned with that.
If we serve people well, we are building that relationship. And yes, we sell things. Like I make money from selling things, right? But there's an old adage: people know that they're being sold, but they don't want to feel like they're being sold.
Absolutely. That's a key point to make. I like the way you said that. And how do you overcome that?
So we do it a lot through education. I told you at the very beginning, I was a school teacher once upon a time. I convinced 15-year-olds that algebra didn't totally suck. Right?
That's impressive.
So that's what we did. So education is very deep in the DNA of our business. And ultimately, whether you buy from us or not, we want to make sure that you understand the decision that you're making. And if we do that enough times, we develop trust, we develop relationship. And you may not buy from us today, but good marketing automation says we're going to keep chirping in your ear, and eventually you're going to raise your hand.
Absolutely. Well, eventually they'll need you, right? The odds are against them. So can you tell me, what are some of the most common misconceptions medium to small businesses have about insurance, and how do you help them reframe those beliefs?
So there is a common misconception with lawsuits. I see this. So there is an ongoing discussion amongst physicians. So full disclosure, my wife is a physician. We do malpractice for physicians around the country. And one of those conversations that they have in the state of Texas is that you can't be sued for more than $250,000.
As a business? As a person?
As a person, as a business, an injury claim.
Oh, wow.
Tort reform was passed several years ago. And there is this idea that you can't be sued for more than $250,000.
Interesting.
For pain and suffering.
Ah, I see. Okay.
And while that's true for pain and suffering, there is the concept of what is known as monetary damages and non-monetary damages. Mm-hmm. So if you were in an auto accident and you were hurt and you had to go to the hospital.
Right.
And you were there for a prolonged period of time. You couldn't come into work for, we'll call it 6 months.
Okay.
The company loves you, but they're not probably going to continue to pay you if you're not working
Right.
and you're laid up in the hospital and you're accruing medical bills. And if you're there for 6 months and you're off work for 6 months, it's not inconceivable for that total to go well over $1 million.
Absolutely.
Right.
So with that being said.
So all of those medical bills, all of those lost wages, all of the rehab, those are monetary damages.
Oh, so that doesn't fall under the umbrella
of the cap of tort reform. So you can be sued well beyond that. And there was a story that was in the news about 12 to 18 months ago in Plano. Lady went into an urgent care center. It was well documented. It was on the local TV here, 10 o'clock news. And she was mistreated. And she ended up becoming a paraplegic as a result.
Oh, my God.
Because there was blood issues in her spinal cord that were ignored by the attending physician.
Oh, my goodness.
She was awarded $10.5 million.
Wow. With or without insurance?
So I don't know what, I don't know. The judge awarded the $10.5 million. It's my understanding that the physician didn't have appropriate levels of coverage for that. And I've got friends that are injury attorneys here in Fort Worth, and they've said, if you've had a divorce, all of your assets go into that public record or the court record when they're divided, right? I now have public record of everything that you own that can be gone after to satisfy that judgment. People don't think about that. And they go, well, I don't really need that insurance because nothing's going to happen to me. And it's all great until it's not.
Famous last words, right?
Right. And so that idea of I can't be sued or this won't affect me is probably the single biggest misconception that small and medium business owners have.
I am so glad you put that out there because that is something I've heard. I have personal injury attorneys that I just networked with that I think have mentioned the same thing, but the way you frame it is very teacher-like. It's a lot more helpful because it's like, okay, I may not need this, but will I for all these other things? And the education portion of what you do, I think, is the most pivotal in this day and age because so many people just want to throw you information and then move on to the rest in the automation. You know what I mean?
It becomes very transactional. People want to get it done as quick as they can. They don't want to think about it. They don't want anybody else to think about it. They just want to know what the cheapest price is. They want to charge a maximum price for their expertise, but they discount other people's expertise. I mean, it's something we all do, right? I can go to Google and figure that out. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Right? But especially if you're a business owner and you're not thinking about those things, it only takes one bad moment to ruin the future.
To take everything. And that leeways me into the question that I asked before we got on air is how many business owners do or don't know about cybersecurity in this digital world now?
So sadly, it's an alarmingly low number that actually know about it.
Terrifying.
It's one of the things that we talk about frequently with our business and church and nonprofit customers and prospects and people who come into our ecosystem. Because the reality is most of us are taking electronic payments. Churches have online giving platforms. We're storing identifying information in CRMs. I do it. Right?
You are.
It's all
API's out there.
It's all out there. And if you give up that breach, most people don't realize it's a per person fine.
Really?
So if you have 1,000 people in your database, and my CRM has more than 10,000.
Absolutely.
And you've got all of that PPI in there that is traceable back to that person. At that point, you're fined per person for that breach.
Oh my goodness. See, I didn't know that.
So the total that you can be liable for escalates very quickly. Plus you have to provide credit monitoring for those people. You have to provide credit restoration for those people. You have to do the quarantine and the forensics to figure out how many people were affected, what information was exposed. You have to do reputation management on the back end. You have to restore your systems so that they're functional. Do you want to pay for all that out of your pocket?
Right. I mean, as a digital marketing agency, that's one of the things. not that portion of it, but one of the things we emphasize is go with someone that's certified in your digital landscape, because if you're not ADA compliant, if you don't have that infrastructure security put in place, you might as well just stop wasting your money.
The other thing that I would emphasize with that is having some form of protection. So
absolutely. See, and I didn't know this was an option. It's kind of like doggy insurance. I just found out about this a couple of years ago. Like, you now have doggy insurance if y'all didn't know. But the cybersecurity, it needs to be brought to light more for these businesses, especially the small businesses.
The criminals, the hacks, they're going deeper down the fishing pond, meaning the smaller businesses, they understand small to medium businesses have way less sophisticated security than the really large businesses.
Right.
They're also really good at getting into the sophisticated security. If you remember 18 months ago, the MGM Grand in Las Vegas was completely compromised.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that was shut down. I was there in the aftermath of all that and couldn't even get a reservation to a restaurant at the Bellagio.
And it just cripples you as a business.
And if you think that them being down several months was a problem, what are you going to do as a small to medium business owner?
You're already surviving month to month, right? Trying to cover your costs. So how does it, you said that if you don't have the insurance coverage, you'll have to pay all these different things per person. So how does that coverage protect them, and what does it protect?
So the way that the cyber coverage will protect them, number one, it's going to help with the forensics. So you're going to alert the cyber insurance company. They're going to bring their people in to help do the forensics on what happened, what was compromised, how do we fix it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to help you with the restoration of your data so that you can get back to where you were.
Wow.
They're going to work on getting the fines taken care of. They're going to work on the credit monitoring for all the people that were affected. They're going to work on the reputation management on the back end to make sure that people know that they can still trust you.
Wow. And
that PR side of it is huge, especially if you're a church, if you're a private school that is reliant upon people giving up that hard-earned money every month.
Absolutely.
You have to have that trust.
Because if you don't, and you lose it just one time. I worked in the financial industry prior to this, and you would not believe how many times, we didn't get hacked, but you wouldn't believe how many times they attempt to do it a day.
Yes.
These hackers out here.
Yes.
And so the larger corporations and companies, I would assume, have this type of insurance protection, but I work primarily with small and medium businesses, even nonprofit churches. And this is something that I've never heard someone mention that they have or need.
Send them our way.
Right? That was a perfect plug for that, right? So let me ask you, you were recently recognized as the fastest growing commercial agency in your network. So what's been the biggest driver of that growth?
So we're part of a 600 agency nationwide network of independent insurance agencies. Okay. It's headquartered in Denver. And we finished 2025 as the fastest growing commercial agency. And it's been a project that's had two main drivers.
Okay.
Number one, we niched down. We didn't try to be everything to all people. We said we are going after churches, early childhood education centers, and technology companies.
You know your target market.
And that's where we focused. The second thing we did is we relentlessly published across that digital landscape that we talked about earlier, content Monday through Friday so that people could absolutely find us. Part of that emanated from that landscape being in turmoil. When you're the person who's running into the burning building, people are looking for any arm that they can grab to pull them out, right?
Absolutely.
So that was a big part of what we did. We looked for that distressed market. We targeted it. We found solutions. We helped people. The people that we helped are now sending people to us.
Absolutely.
Because we helped pull them out of the burning building. And the content is there, always working on the internet for us while we're sleeping, taking care of customers, doing other things.
And you perfectly describe the customer journey, right? you bring them in, you give them the brand awareness so that they can find you, because we all know if we've said anything around our social media, we're going to see an ad for it. You have to have those ads available to see it, right? And then the advocation and the referrals. That's the part that most businesses, salespeople, business owners forget, is that you can get the leads in. You can get the leads in. Some can retain those leads. It's the advocation and the reoccurring business that you forget at the end of the day, because a referral, I'm going to take a referral from one of my trusted friends over an ad, right?
Sure.
At the end of the day.
If you get both of those to come together in one,
exactly,
it's over.
It's flawless. So that was the reason for your growth and that award this year, which is amazing. So the customer journey, I just mentioned that, but how did you build your initial marketing and CRM infrastructure when you started with 0 customers? Like, how did you know what to do or have?
So I have spent a lot of time learning, blood, sweat, and tears, but also being a part of education. I read a lot. I am personally involved in a direct response marketing mastermind of business owners and marketers that are around the world. We get together every Thursday morning.
Wow.
That's where I'll be tomorrow morning for 2.5 hours. And I have spent a lot of time in those kinds of environments, reading what I can, testing what I can.
Okay.
I get crazy ideas and I'm like, well, let's see if it works.
Why not? You can only learn, I tell my kids this all the time, through making mistakes.
We've made some big ones.
Opportunity to learn and grow, right?
Sure, yeah. We've made some big ones, some more expensive than others. But what we do is we say, okay, even if it didn't work, what did we learn? Because
absolutely, I
used to work for a very influential, wealthy person in Fort Worth many years ago, and we had a really bad day. And he pulled us in, and he went around the table, and he said, "What did you learn?" And we all told him. And he said, "Okay, all is not lost. If something is learned, go fix it."
That's a true leader.
And so we've tried to apply that not only to our marketing, but how we run business as well.
Absolutely.
My people are like, "Hey, can we try this?" And I'm, sure. Yeah. As long as we're, staying within the guardrails of what makes us who we are.
Absolutely. And have those guardrails set up.
Sure. We do have those guardrails. And we spent, I took the large part of my sales team. We did 3 days at a trade show last fall so that we could get elbow to elbow with these church members that we were trying to win their business.
Absolutely.
And we had conversations. We had coffee. We had dinner. We had lunch. We shut down the office mostly to take care of doing those activities in conjunction with everything else we did.
That
they know our
personal
face.
Touch and intimate relationship is, I would say, the reason for your exponential growth. To me, in my mind, that would mean a lot to me. For you to shut down your whole building because you want to have lunch with me, that's amazing. It really is a personal touch that I can't emphasize enough that you have to have. So in the build, launch, growth, scale strategy that we have, what phase of that 4-step process would you say that your company's in now?
We are currently in the scaling of that.
Okay. Tell me what that
So
is.
We are, excuse me.
No, you're okay.
We have taken the marketing that we've done that is working. We're now generating, on average, every month, approximately 120 new business deals.
Wow.
That are spread across our sales team.
Wow.
And that's personal, commercial, life, health. It's across the board. And we are in the process of helping those salespeople sell as many of them as they can. We also have systems running in the background. Just because you don't buy from me now doesn't mean you're not going to buy from me later, right?
Absolutely.
Buy or die, I believe is the phrase most marketers use, right?
Yes.
And so we are using that ever replenishing lead flow to build and scale the agency so that we can bring more people in to continue to do the same thing.
Absolutely. And in your strategy and your process that you've really refined, I mean, it's so exceptional. And having the different variations of the different industries, what you've already learned, your wife in the medical industry, you've really kind of jumped through all the hurdles of the what ifs, right?
We've seen a lot of them. There's always new ones that are coming, but we've seen a lot of them.
Oh my goodness. So you mentioned that you have children.
Yes.
What do your daughters think of the work you do? And how do you hope being an entrepreneur and that journey will influence them?
So it's pretty funny. You asked what my daughters think about the work that I do. So they always expect the dad jokes. My oldest daughter, who is 25, she just turned 25. She is late going to college. She didn't know what she wanted to do when she was 18. And I was the only person in the family that said, stop going to class. And I'm the school teacher, right? And she looked at me with wide eyes and she goes, why? And I said, well, you're spending all this money. You have no idea what you want to do with it. You're taking 1 or 2 classes at a time, so it's costing you exponentially more.
Over a long period
of time. It's going to keep you from learning how to live life.
You get lost in the rut, the monotony.
You need to figure out what it means to live on your own, pay bills, understand that may mean hot dogs and ramen at the end of the month.
That's right.
And you need to figure out what it is you want to do. And so a year ago when she came to me and said, I'm ready to go back to college. I said, that's awesome. What's your plan to do it?
I love it.
And she succinctly laid it out, and she's now following through with it. She's on her path to become a counselor, which was something that she benefited from. And she knows she couldn't operate inside my world because she's like, I don't know how you sit at a desk all day. That sucks.
Right. That's just not her personality.
It's not her personality. My other daughter, who is about to turn 12 this weekend, she comes from a very different place. We were talking about work, and she goes, Dad, you're the boss. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
Oh, girlfriend,
right.
Girlfriend, it's not quite that simple. And we have to talk about, what does it mean you have to work every day? You have to do the things that most other people aren't willing to do over and over and over again to get to where you want to be. Now, I don't know that she's ever going to take over my business eventually. I have no preconceived ideas about that. I want her to chart her own path.
Absolutely.
Just like her older sister is, just like I did. Because the statistics say my background being a poor kid from small towns in the Midwest, I shouldn't be sitting here at this table with you.
What are statistics anymore?
As a math guy,
it matters.
They're things, but it's putting into those two girls. You can do hard things. You can do things you don't think are possible. You can chart your own course. You don't have to look like everyone else. And you have to pursue what's right for you.
Absolutely. And them watching you has to be something. I mean, that's core. My parents were entrepreneurs, and I truly feel like I never wanted to be one, but it's in my genes, that natural, and that comes from watching your parents.
A lot of it does.
And how they overcome things, because so many people can say it's a bad day, not a bad life, but when you see your parents go through those hurdles.
Sometimes it's a bad week or a bad month, but yeah.
And that's okay, but we're going to get through it, right?
We keep pushing through, for sure.
At the end of the day, right? So, tell me about the launch of True Texas Technology Insurance.
So we have some federally registered trademarks in the business.
Okay.
We've tried to protect our intellectual property.
Of course.
So we are the home of True Texas Home Insurance.
Nice.
True Texas Church Insurance, True Texas Education Insurance, and we have, in the last few months, launched True Texas Technology Insurance.
Wow.
So that is a customized solution that fits your individual tech business, whether it's a computer repair shop, a data center, a software development company, a consulting company.
A digital marketing.
Digital marketing fits in there as well. We come in, we sit down, we ask lots of questions. Some people it doesn't resonate with them, and that's okay. We ask you lots of questions. Our goal is to find out what is it that you do, what makes you unique, what makes you special, what are the things that you have to protect so that your financial future is secure.
Right. Absolutely.
And then we put that customized plan together so that you can properly protect what matters most to you.
And you're there through the whole process, from the beginning, onboarding them through their insurance coverage with you. You're able to contact, reach, show up at any point in time.
You can send carrier pigeon if you want.
I love it. Somebody actually mentioned that the other day.
Yeah. So we laugh. You can text us. You can Facebook Messenger us. You can call us. You can send us an email. We do use video to send messages to people, to send proposals to people. If schedules aren't jiving, we'll record a 2 to 5, 7-minute video and run through everything you need to know that's vital and core. Here it is. You can send us one back. Wow. You can schedule coffee. You can meet us in the office if you want. You got to let us know in advance because we're not always there. All my people work remote. But we do that so we can meet you where you are and we can provide that personalized, customized service that you deserve.
Wow, you really are leading the way when it comes to how people frame insurance companies. It's a lot of verbiage and very confusing, and I think was what most people think. And you really dived into the digital age and environment we're in and made it accessible to all generations, really. You've made it very accessible.
We have a couple that we insure their home and cars who are not far from where we're sitting. And I've stopped by and picked up a check once because they didn't know how else to do it.
Okay. That's amazing.
And we will do that on occasion. We can't do it all the time, right? Because we'd be running ragged. But it allows us to meet people where they are and provide, even in a digital format, that old school service that a lot of people still want and crave.
Absolutely, but with that, the availability everybody wants as well, right?
Correct.
So, to circle things back, I mean, I could talk to you for days about everything I need to get done, but to circle things back, if a small business owner is listening right now, that's dreading their next insurance coverage or dreading having to renew, what's one mindset shift you want them to walk away with?
Everybody's upset about the price of insurance today. Like, I'm going to say the elephant in the room right up front.
Thank you.
It's even mine's expensive. Yours, everyone's is expensive, right? When you're a business owner, you can't leave yourself exposed, especially to lawsuit.
Absolutely.
You may be able to find a way to rebuild a building. You may be able to find a way to relocate your operations to another spot. If you get sued and you have no coverage, everything's at risk.
Absolutely. So you can pay an attorney or you can pay a lot less for insurance coverage.
It's liability coverage, unless you're in some super risky stuff,
right,
is not the most expensive thing in the world. If you need to figure out how to find some creative ways to lower your property coverage so that it's less expensive, we can help you do that. But most importantly, we want to make sure that you don't get sued into the sun and have to go work a job someplace just to pay off that debt.
That's a wonderful point to make, because I feel like in the past few years, a lot of people are kind of looking at these businesses like, oh, that'd be a nice payout, right?
Right. Well, I mean, if you watch local TV at all, so go home and watch the 6 o'clock news tonight or the 10 o'clock news. 2/3 of the commercials, since it's not political season, are injury attorneys looking for new prospects to file lawsuits for.
Absolutely. And they're out there looking to file lawsuits, right?
They are. That's how they get paid.
Man, well, thank you so much for sharing all this important information with us. And if any of you out there would like to learn more or at least get your options of what you should or shouldn't be doing in terms of your business or your personal, please reach out to Ron. I'll list his information in the bio below. And until next time, we'll see you.